Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 60 of the Showbound podcast. I'm your host, Michael Raskin, here alongside Ethan Cardwell. Cards, you live to be a Barry Colt another day. What's going on, man?
You're such a little rat, man. No, just chilling. We're both tired. Currently 7 in the morning. Gotta do this before I hit the gym with the boys before practice. So just grinding. Gonna be a ton of games here in the second half. I think we have like 43 games or something in like the next 85 days or like maybe
Wow.
less than that. So it's basically just like try to keep your body in as best shape as you can. And then when you're playing, I don't know, just grind it out.
Just don't get hit. You're going to be sore.
Yeah, legit, man. It's crazy because we hadn't played in like a month, right? So I'd never been like the type to get sore after a hockey game. And we played back-to-back nights this weekend and I woke up on our day off and I'm like, holy crap, like am I getting old or is it the time off? Because I felt like a wood board, man. I was so stiff, I was hurting all over and I was so confused. So I'm gonna go have to get some treatment today to make sure that's taken care of.
Yeah. I remember I only played 1 3-3 in junior. I mean, in minor hockey, we've all done like the tournaments where you play like 5 games in one day and stuff. But um, I remember everyone was telling me like, "Oh, you're gonna hate your body like after this weekend and all that stuff. Like it's gonna hurt all that." I was like, "Whatever. Like I could play 3 games." And all of a sudden, my whole body was just sore, like head to toe, and especially in the league I was in, where I'm probably taking like 40 hits a game and giving 40 hits a game.
Just grinders out there, bud.
I mean, every play, like someone's finishing their hit. It's anyway. Do you want to talk about the trade deadline? I know like the deadline's passed. There was rumors going crazy that you were getting dealt, and um, we can get into some of the moves that happened. But how did that go down for you?
Yeah, for sure. We'll talk about some around the league and stuff. And yeah, I'll kind of address like, yeah, like trade deadlines, like it's a weird time of year, obviously. You kind of find a home in a place where you start to play, you get comfortable, your billets, like you're comfortable around the guys, like it just like everything's set in stone, it almost feels like. And then all of a sudden in like the week leading up, everything's kind of up in the air and you don't know where you could be going. So yeah, you can't you never know what's going to happen really. And unless you're the one holding the cards, then you don't make those decisions. So I was just kind of sitting tight. Obviously you can't not see everything on Twitter. Bunch of rumors going around. You kind of get the eyes in the locker room a little bit too, like if a tweet comes out like like rumors, and then everyone's like looking at me to like tell them like what I know. I'm like, like I don't know anything. I'm just here to play my game, and if anything happens, I guess I'll deal with it when it comes. But no, it was all right. I mean, I got traded the deadline before, so I was kind of like I've kind of known how to deal with it a little bit. So I think this one was a little bit smoother for me than last one, and just try to put the phone away, stay off Twitter as much as you can, and just things are gonna work out. So
Yeah, I remember we talked to Cole Perfetti about it in episode 21, where he was playing for Manitoba in the AHL at the time, and being there Winnipeg's top prospect, and it was right before the trade deadline when we had him on. If you remember, we were asking like, was there any talk of you, like you hear rumors and stuff, and because at that point, he can get traded by his NHL team, and even you can, which is a little crazy.
yeah, legit.
But it's interesting. It's definitely a crazy time of year. So I mean, let's talk about what went down in Barrie. I mean, I guess the week before, Oscar Olesen, who we just had on the podcast, got traded, and then it's kind of like, at least from the fans' perspective, it was like panic mode in Barrie. Everyone's like they're selling. Like what's going on in the locker room for that?
Yeah, like there's lots of speculation on what you want to do with things when something happens. Like, I don't know, people can view things in all certain types of way. Obviously, I was pretty upset to see Oscar go, as he's one of my closer buddies on the team, and we've had a great relationship. But you know what, he's going to Oshawa, so it's my hometown actually, so I'll be able to see him a few more times anytime we get a day off. I typically like to go home and stuff, so I can hang out with him then and try to catch up. But you know what, it was a little bit sad in the dressing room. You know, the boys are gonna miss him for sure. I think all the guys liked him a lot, and we just wish him the best with Oshawa, and just hope that he doesn't beat up on us, and we give him the beating. You know?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think like, well, obviously McDonald comes into Barrie, so
Yeah,
he isn't like, I guess the difference. He's a good player, but Olison's a first round pick and he's a seventh. Is that right?
yeah. Dex is like, he's a different player too. If you like, I have a lot of respect for how he plays. It's almost similar to a guy like Gelsma on our team, like just guys who like skate nonstop, tireless workers, not the biggest guys, but they'll run around out there and hit guys. So it's a good energy buzzsaw to have for a team who's gonna try to make a playoff run.
And you were on a line with him, right?
Yeah, it was him and I the other day.
How'd that go?
It was all right. I finally put some goals in the net for the first time and feels like what forever. But no,
Yeah,
it was good.
I had that night, like two goal game. So you think you found the scoring touch? Maybe a little nerve settle after the deadline, new line, like maybe that's helping out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I talked to it with Coach Marty, obviously, and just said like, if he never gives up on a goal scorer, like I don't know if I'm gonna consider myself a full on goal scorer yet, but he's just said, you know, like goal scorers go on these kind of droughts, and you just gotta stay patient, bide your time, just put in the hard work, the extra effort, and things will start to come. Just try to be in good areas, work hard, get your nose dirty in front. So for me, it was a lot of just focusing on practice habits, just being my best in practice to score goals there so it can translate to the game, and then you know trying to get it off your mind as well. So I mean, I got our video coach, so listen to this one. So we got a video coach, and his name's Zach, and nobody really knew him like till like probably like 3 weeks ago. He kind of stayed to himself, like would just sit at the front of the bus and stuff. And then he butted Porco in line at Tim's. So it's just a massive uproar from the boys. So we were giving it to him, and now we got a great relationship with him. So I'm sitting there in the locker room. I'm like, let's like I haven't scored. Like let's change something up. I go, Zach, here's the stick I want to use. Do whatever you want with the tape job. I don't care, and I'm gonna use it, and we'll see what happens. So he gives me like the Ryan Johansson tape job
No, I
from
don't.
Nashville.
And for the listeners who don't either, explain it.
So he leaves a little bit of the heel open, starts the tape job with thin white, and then wraps it about 5 times, and that's it. So it's just a little thick, like in the middle. That's it.
I hate that.
So if you, yeah,
There's
same.
no way you use that, did you?
Swear to God, bro, go look at the clips on my goals. It was hilarious. It was tearing apart and stuff. So then I score, and I was trying because there's no fans, right? So I'm finding them. I'm like pointing at him from the bench, and then sure enough, to get the second one too, it was pretty nice. So I mean, I guess I'll have to stick with that TJ for a little bit, even though it's a little questionable.
That's insane. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Have you ever seen I think it's JQ Birdie on Niagara? He just got traded somewhere. But have you seen his tape job?
No.
He has one small strip, maybe like the size of my finger, just like in the middle, and that's it, like sideways, not up and down.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been like one to really change up my tape jobs too much. And I actually, this is another funny thing because I always talk about this with people. Like some guys that like obviously with Yetman and stuff, like when he came on the pod, like he's the type of guy who like picks up on those things, like knows what guys use for tape jobs, like their curve and everything. And like if you asked me Allison's tape job, I sit beside the guy in the room. I have absolutely no idea. Just I'm more like the just like stay in my lane type of guy, just figure it out in my own game.
It's funny how Doug Wilson Jr. noticed that with Yetman in the interview that he's and he quizzed him and Yetman passed and can name everyone's everything in the NHL. So pretty cool. But as far as goal
No,
scoring
man,
goes,
that
yeah,
wasn't
that was Yetman.
Yetman who could name it all.
Yeah, it
No,
was.
it wasn't.
It
No, it
was.
wasn't.
It
No,
was.
it wasn't. No, it
Who
wasn't.
was it?
It was oh shit.
It was Yetman.
No, it was a guy who didn't get drafted by the Sharks. It wasn't Yetman.
We said
It
this for
was
Yetman in the interview.
no, it wasn't him, man. It was Jack Beck.
It was Yetman, man.
It was Jack Beck. Hey, mark my words, go look at it right now.
Okay. It might have been Jack Beck.
It was. Because remember we were like, oh yeah, Becker, like when we talked to like Doug.
Okay, yeah. It was Beck.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's what I thought. But
that one's on me. Sorry, Yetman. And sorry, Jack Beck, who I actually spoke to recently as well. I called Porco yesterday. You mentioned Porco. We talked for like 45 minutes. It was funny. We were saying how every time he's been traded, he's played his previous team the first game back.
yeah, he wasn't fortunate enough to get the shootout winner like he did last time he got traded. But
Yeah.
no, it was good to see him. And actually, bold statement by Porks. He's wearing number 37, the first to do it since brother of the podcast, Nick Suzuki.
Yeah. Okay, that's a pretty sacred number in Owensound.
Yeah, exactly. He's letting him know.
It was funny because I'm calling this guy and his phone is cutting out every second. He's like, "Oh, I'm in Owensound. Like my phone, I have no service." Like,
so man, it kind of seems like the battles we've had to try to get these podcasts rolling sometimes with my questionable Wi-Fi and service out here.
Yeah, we've been making it work. Anyway, I did want to say, just going back to you scoring goals and stuff, and then we can keep moving forward. But you've noticed this. I'm sure you've seen it with your teammates. I notice it with my guys that when you break the slump, you get one, you get two, they come in bunches, man, and you know it. So like I'm expecting you to start scoring because you don't have to think about it going into every game now. Like you just got 2 goals, you can relax and maybe the next one will come. A lot of it is pretty mental.
Oh yeah, I think like a lot of people don't give the mental side of the game in hockey enough respect. Like it is completely mental. And you talk to all these NHL players and even LT in the interview that we have later coming to you. Like you got to kind of get rid of superstitions or things in your head that are going to bug you with your on ice performance and just go out there, be free. Just like, yeah. And I always say this, but it's so true. Like you're in this level for a reason. You're where you are in the lineup for a reason. You have what you have coming to you in life and in hockey for a reason. So just there's no point in stressing over the little things. Just go out there and make big things happen,
Yeah, and that's a perfect time to tee up LT, our guest this episode, Logan Thompson, because you want to talk about stress-free. This guy was, when he was at Brock, we talked about it, he's going up to the bar the night before the game, enjoying the school life, and then getting shutouts the next day, right? So this guy was just stress-free, living his best life, and look where he is now. He's backup goalie for the Vegas Golden Knights. Got his first NHL start the other night. We talk about it all. It's an interesting one because he's played in USports, he's played in the ECHL, the AHL, and now the NHL. So a guy who has all sorts of perspective on hockey, and even talked about how he had given up on his NHL dreams at one point. So it's a cool one. I'm excited for this one to get out there. But
and I just want to pipe into this isn't Rask and I encouraging people to go to the bar before games or for young players to be out past curfew before games. No, listen to your coaches, do what's right. But if you happen to be an oddball who can pull it off like LT, good for you, I guess.
Yeah, he made it work, man. But we get into it. It's a couple funny stories with him, and he's just another good Western boy, like we talk about.
Yeah.
So can't go wrong with those Western guys. But I mean, we have a big announcement, Cards. I guess by the time that we this podcast airs, everyone will know. But let's flip it to you. You go for it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who follows us on social media already knows this, but we've started up the Showbound Foundation. It's going to be a charitable foundation where Rask and I try to get hockey equipment and league fees in the hands of people who may not be able to afford it at this time. And, we kind of started this movement just to be able to give every kid the chance. Like the point of the Showbound podcast is to make it to the show. All these players that we have on are hopefully potentially showbound one day. So I don't think it's fair for one kid or a few kids in this world not to have that opportunity to be showbound one day. So our slogan is for the stars of tomorrow. So we're going to try to do everything in our power to give these kids the best opportunity to succeed and make these memories that last a lifetime that you can build in hockey. What do you have, Rask?
Yeah, that was really well said. Yeah, I just want to chime in that, like, obviously hockey is an extremely expensive sport, one of the most expensive, if not the most. So not every family is able to put their kids into hockey and stuff. And even I had friends growing up, like a couple that were like, especially as you move up in levels of hockey, like maybe they can get equipment, but they can't afford to pay for their single A or double A fees, right? Because when you make the jump from house league, all of a sudden it's a lot more expensive. And if a kid's good and that hinders them from moving up the ranks, like that's tough because that could be a future NHL player, a future college player. So we think it's time we have enough of a following that we're able to use the platform to give back. And, I guess I'll ask our listeners if they can share it, maybe a repost or a retweet on Instagram and Twitter, and help spread the movement. And you'll see in the video that's being posted, I guess, a little more on how to donate and what's coming. We got like an auction in the works with some former guests of the podcast sending in jerseys, and we'll get maybe a couple of things from Barry, and I don't know. We'll raise some money through an auction. We'll get some cool prizes, and it's exciting. So stay tuned for more on that. And I guess we're just appreciative that we're in the position to be able to do this and be able to give back. So we want to thank all the listeners and viewers for that. And I mean, we can get into like one headline there. We've been going a while, so I don't want to we don't have to dive too far in cards, but maybe one we can talk about, just I guess some of the OHL trade deadline stuff that we didn't talk about, like Jack Thompson going to the Sioux. We got McTavish on the move. Do you want to just give us a little roundup maybe?
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest deal is made. McTavish to Hamilton, obviously they're going to be a good team now. Or not now. They've always been a good team, but that just adds depth. And they picked up Jack Guy, if I'm saying it right, from Kitchener as well. He's a big, tough, not actually stay at home. He's a point per game defenseman too as well.
He's a murderer as well.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, so not a guy I'm looking to fight, but they're going to be a big, strong team and going to be physical and tough to play down the stretch here. So Hamilton's shaping up well after the deadline. And yeah, Sudbury, we all kind of expected Jack to be traded, former guest of the pod, and he goes to the Sioux on a deep Sioux team that looks like they could set up for a run in the Western Conference, joined really by good. Another guest of the pod. We have Rourke up there. So those two could be dangerous on the back end, playing together, a lefty and a righty combo. So
you think they'd play together?
I don't know, man. That'd be a dangerous number one pairing.
It would be. It may be dangerous for them on the back end. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
they're good defensively, but they're both
gambling. Yeah,
they're both so offensive. So I wonder if they stick a defensive guy with them. That's all.
Yeah, it won't matter. They'll just be in the ozone the whole time.
I know they would be.
I'm trying to think here. I mean, Stillman, who I think we're gonna get on in the offseason. Chase Stillman just got traded to the Peterborough Petes.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird deal. I wasn't sure if what the Petes were doing. They get rid of McTavish, bring Stillman in.
I think they're just question. Why would they do that?
I think they're trying to set up for next year. He's an 03. I think they assume he'll be back, and they have Avon there, Robertson, and the list goes on of a few young guys they have, or not young guys, but middle-aged men.
They probably could have moved Sproul if they want to set up for next year.
Yeah, they probably could have, but I think they want to stay in the mix here this year while also getting everything they could for McTavish, because
maybe get the guys some playoff experience and then go on the run next year. It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but you survived. You're still in Barrie. You're close. And I mean, yeah. So exciting time. Barrie's gonna go on, continue this run. And Anything else here before we flip it over to LT?
No, I'm a Colt, and that's that. And
All
just
right.
looking forward to getting you guys this interview. And if you everybody could go check out the Showbound Foundation, I think we're gonna start up like um a little site where we can set up donations and stuff too. So that'll be live. We'll get more to you guys on this stuff in next week's episode
It's
as well.
live now, but it needs a bit of work too. But it's live.
Yes.
Showbound. It's showbound.weebly.com right now. We're gonna get rid of the Weebly once we can make a little money.
we need some former guests of the pod to be throwing some dough on there.
Yeah, maybe Tip. He's been in the NHL the longest. Or we get Ryan Strome to throw a couple mil.
Yeah, Nate Thompson,
Yeah.
Shrimpy. Like we got some guys who could throw some cheese down.
Hey, Robert Thomas.
Robbie Thomas, NHL champion. Mitchell Stevens, 2-time Cup champion.
Yeah,
I don't know. I always draw blanks with this stuff. Like we have, like I always forget how many people we've actually had on here. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. 60 episodes. This is 60 right now. Let's go.
All right, let them hear our 60th guest.
Yeah. Okay. And now we'll send it over to Logan Thompson. All right. We're pleased to be joined now by Logan Thompson, LT. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. You got a couple new tats or what?
Yeah, I got a couple more, I think, since I left Brock, for sure.
Yeah, Showpay will do that, you just got your first NHL start for the Vegas Golden Knights. Goalie, by the way, for those who don't know. Can you tell us all about that? Like, I want to know when you found out you were going to get to start and everything kind of leading up to the game.
I found out the day before. The goalie coach told me just at practice, said, do some video. You're going to play tomorrow, and really excited for you, and just do some film on Forsberg, and that was about it. And I went out and practiced, and the next day, we had the game against Nashville, and it was a cool experience. It would have been more fun to get the 2 points, but it's just how hockey goes sometimes.
Yeah. Did you have enough time to get your family down there?
Yeah. No, I was able to get my dad down there. The team was really good about that. They flew him down. I got him tested right away, so he was able to make it.
Nice, man. Oh, that's cool, dude. Everyone at Brock obviously was talking about it. I guess for those who don't know, LT was played a year for Brock University. We'll get into it in a bit, but that's where I met him. So pretty cool from Brock to this show. But one thing I always like to ask goalies, we've had a couple goalies on the podcast, but just going back to when you were younger, how old were you when you started playing goalie?
Oh, I think I was 9 or 10-ish. I think that's kind of when I realized that I should be a goalie, and I liked it a lot more, and decided to stick with it. It's kind of the age I chose.
Now, I think I've asked you this one before, but if you can refresh my memory, it was the pads that got you into goalie, right? You like the style?
Yeah, it was definitely the pads. Yeah, that's how it started. It was just they looked cool. You're the coolest looking guy in the ice. What I thought back then. Now I think it's changed a little bit.
And I mean, we're gonna kind of go through your whole career here and touch on all the bases. But you started out in the WHL, guy from out west. So Rask has had a track record of saying our Western guys are our nicest guests on the pod. So hopefully that continues today. And but you played for the Brandon Wheat Kings in the WHL, and I just want to know, how was that adjustment to like major junior at age 16 as a goalie?
Yeah, it was different. I got drafted there, and I had no idea the Wheat Kings were even a team, or where they were out in the middle of nowhere in Brandon, Manitoba. But me being from Calgary, a big city, I was excited, and when I got out there, I fell in love with the city, and I was thankful not to play 4 years there. I got to win a championship, so really thankful for that opportunity and the people I met there, and in the organization and in the city. It was an awesome place, and it could have been worked out better.
Yeah, I've always been curious. So, like, do you guys get really good fans there because it's such a small area?
Yeah, no, we were definitely getting a lot of good crowds there. It being a smaller town, people live and breathe the Wheat Kings, and we were at the time the only team in Manitoba. So it was a really good fan base we had, and we were a very strong team for 3 of the years I was there.
Yeah, and you just touched on winning a championship there. So yeah, winning any sort of championship's unreal, especially a major junior title like that one. So can you tell us a little bit about that experience, like the playoff run and then being able to go to the Mem Cup?
Yeah, I mean, I was I was just thankful to be there. I was the backup goalie. My goalie partner, Jordan Perny at the time, who I'm really still to this day really good friends with, had an outstanding career. So I was just, happy to be his partner and got to play with some special players, Provorov, Powerluck, Quenville, Nolan Patrick. We had a really deep team and it was a lot of fun. And then, the WHL was exciting, obviously, but it was another thing to go to the Mem Cup. And, we got to see players like Kachuk and Marner and all those guys and with the London Knights. So, yeah, it was definitely all in all a cool experience. And, I got some time in playoffs there against the Red Deer series and a little bit of playing time against the Mem Cup or in the Mem Cup against London. So, no, it was definitely a cool experience and something I'm going to remember forever.
Yeah. What year was that?
2016.
Okay. So where was the Mem Cup that year?
Red Deer.
Oh, okay, cool. So
yeah.
That's unreal.
Yeah, and we had Braden Schneider on the podcast a while ago, but teammate of yours. So he's also one of those really nice Western guys. And I said last week, LT, I said, who did we have last week? Why am I drawing a blank cards? Oh yeah, Tristan Robbins, who's from out west, and he was like so nice, man. And I said after the interview, like all the Western guys we've had on have just been so nice. And LT is no different, cards and for the listeners, but actually one quick one, just before we get into Brock and all that, coming from Calgary, a big city, going to Brandon, a tiny little place, how was that adjustment for you off the ice, just living wise?
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't much to do, or at least when you first get into Brandon, you're not too sure what to do. But luckily we had a good group of guys, and a lot of guys played the video games. Fortnite was big back then, so we all got in the Fort, and it was a good time. Like I said, we bonded really well, and we'd find things to do. And it was just a small town, country, lifestyle out there. But I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I'm still keeping the Fortnite train going. Me and Sandbrook are going at it all the time, even right before this podcast. But
oh god,
get into the Brock stuff. Can you tell us about your decision to come to Brock? I mean, you were from out west and nowhere near Brock. So why did you choose Brock?
I just wanted to, change in scenery. All the scouts and all the schools, watch me play being, in the WHL. So I wanted to, just mix things up. So I wanted to go to Ontario and give that a try, and, a whole new group of scouts and teams, and I've never even been to Ontario at the time, so I just wanted to change it up. And I loved living in St. Catharines. It was a really good time, and I loved it there. Loved Brock University.
Oh yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know you had never been to Ontario. Now I overheard Bergie saying this. I don't know if it's true, but did you Uber Eats every meal while you were at Brock?
Yeah, I was a big pizza guy, so I'd always do pizza and beer and video games. It's kind of my go-to. Yeah, lifestyle's changed a bit since Brock. Yeah, no, Uber Eats every day. And Bergie would never cook for me, so he didn't help me out much.
Yeah, you're lucky you got the show pay now to kind of pay that back. That's
just fuel the addiction more. If anything, yeah.
I can only imagine, man. So on the ice, you lit it up at Brock, like set the record for wins, like career wins for our program, for a goalie, like everything, OUA West goalie of the year, like all those ones. So how'd you find it on the ice that year?
It was good. I mean, we were, I think it just speaks volumes of our team. I think we had a really, really good team, and especially the D-core that year, we had a lot of vets and brought in a lot of good young players as well, with Wally. And I thought we just really gelled, and the team actually made my life really easy. And I think if it wasn't for, with how strong of a team forward and decor we were, I wouldn't be here today without them.
I love to hear that. Now, Cards, you're going to love this. And I mentioned it briefly with when we had Braden Schneider on, but LT, I hope you're okay with me saying this, but the first night, or the night before our first game, I'm going out to the bar because I'm not playing. And I run into, you're laughing because, I run into LT at the bar and he's starting the next day, right? And and he's like, whoa, Raskin, like, don't worry, like, I'm not drinking. He was there with the scratch. He's like, I'm just driving these guys home and stuff. Like, and I was like, man, like, if you play well tomorrow, I'm not going to care or say anything. And you're like, you know what, like I'm leaving at 12, all that, taking them home. And I did this in junior. I'm doing it here. I'm going to do it at the next level. And sure enough, probably got a shutout or gave up one goal and continued to do it, and obviously set the wins record. So that was a situation at Brock. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously thought, and I think when I've talked about with other people, like that's kind of how I fell in love with the game. I think I was just having fun when I went to school there, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I was driving those guys home, but I was still wanting to go out and have fun and enjoy that. So kind of what I did, and kind of just stuck with it, and would always, me and the cause would always have fun. So just tried to stay loose all the time. Obviously I don't do that anymore. It's a little more at stake now with my job, but yeah, that was back when I obviously didn't know kind of where I was at with my hockey career, and it was just trying to find my way, and luckily things worked out.
And it was working, man. Like, you were the best goalie in the league by far. So, if you might as well keep it going. Now, another funny bar story, just to speak to how nice of a guy LT is. You had went to Washington Capitals camp at the start of our Brock season, and I didn't really know you. Like, you practiced with us 2 or 3 days. I met you there, and then you went off, and you came back. I think it was first night you came back, and I was at the bar, and I was talking to this girl at the bar, and I ran into you at the bar, and LT comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, Rask." I'm like, "Oh, hey, man." And I introduced this girl to him that I was talking to, and he's just like, "Oh, Raskin's told me so much about you. Like, he doesn't, like, being this beauty wingman." And I just met this girl like 5 minutes before, by the way. And she's like, "Yeah, like, I don't even know him yet." But that's just the type of guy LT is, like, awesome guy, wingman. I didn't even know you at that point either. It was like the day I met you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember that stuff. I was just trying to put in a good word, trying to help you out.
Couple good bar stories actually from Brock, but we gotta keep it moving. Just one more that I have to bring up, and I just have to humble brag myself that I sniped on LT right over the blocker, 15 feet away, no traffic, no screen, just ripped in a tournament. You remember that one, LT? And then he goes and pouts in the locker room. You were just crying in the dressing room after.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, okay, at the 3-on-3 tournament, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it was you that sniped it. I think it was one of the girls that sniped on me. I don't think it was you.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I don't think it was you. I think you took credit for someone else's goal.
I'm 100% shooting.
You probably took credit for Amanda's goal, and you just took credit for it.
Well, I'll remember that one forever. 100% shooting percentage on you. But Cardsy, I'll flip it over. You keep it rolling.
Yeah, for sure. And like, just kind of talk about the rest of that season. Like, obviously you got sick of Rask, so you had to get out of Brock, and you went to the coast to play for Adirondack. So how was that for you, finishing up the year there?
I loved it. It was just the only opportunity that kind of I had. And Alex Lowe and the Adirondack Thunder were, they were going through some injuries, and they were really happy to take me. And that was probably, that and Charleston, I've only played at 2 places in the coast, but I loved every minute of it, and would play for those guys again if I ever had to, or got to, but yeah, no, a lot of fun. The fan base was good there. We had a strong team, and I just enjoyed it, and it was a split in the door, which is kind of all I needed.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure you've been like kind of keeping up to date, obviously being a USports alumni and all that stuff, with like a lot of guys are going to the coast right now signing, and just wanting to play, right? So like, I'm hearing a bunch of different things on like it's harder, and then like this is different and that. So for you personally, how was the adjustment to pro from USports?
It was fast for sure. I mean, it was a lot faster. I think CIS hockey was a little more structured. You get more coaching, I find, down in USports, just more time off and more practice days is kind of, I think, what it is, and less guys coming in and out. I mean, the coast is always, your lineup's changing every day. With call-ups and guys leaving, so stuff like that. But it's a hard league. I think it's, when people talk about the coast, I don't think it gets enough respect. Same with USports hockey. The coast is a really hard league. You got to go down there and you got to grind. Sometimes you got to fight, but it's a lot of skilled players, and a lot of players that necessarily don't get opportunity. But yeah, it's a really fun league, and it doesn't get the respect it deserves.
Now, I just want to jump in, Cards, because you mentioned that you got to fight. I don't know if you know this, Cardsy, but LT got in a goalie fight when he was in the coast. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah. No, we were. I think I was up 2-0 with like 8 minutes left, and McNiven off Jacksonville wanted to fight me, and I at first said no, and then he just kind of auto shed, and I had to because I didn't want to look like a so I took my gear off and fought him.
That's unreal. That's good jam, especially as a rookie in that league. Probably scared shitless, but you got to do what you got to do. And you did play an AHL game that year too. So tell us about getting the call, kind of your first taste of the AHL. And Rask kind of had written down for me here to ask about the Zamboni that night.
Yeah, no, so at the end of Adirondack, they kind of told me that they were getting 2 guys back on NHL contracts, so they were letting me go, and that's part of the game. But they said that Binghamton wanted to call me up for the rest of the season and give me a game. So luckily got the opportunity there, and didn't have the best game. I think we lost 5-2 or 5-3, something like that. And first game, I think the nerves got the best of me, and I don't think I was quite ready at the time. And frustrating game because after the first period the Zamboni broke, and then we had to sit in the change room for like an hour.
One
guys,
Zamboni cards.
Yeah, guys didn't want to. They sold the other Zamboni, I guess.
It was like a long delay too. It was like over an hour probably.
Yeah, Murph was on my team at the time. I'm pretty sure Murph. I'm pretty sure he was there.
Yeah, we had Murph on the pod for those who don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, so we just sat and guys were watching golf. Guys were checked out, and I was this nervous kid made my first AHL game, but they just didn't want to be there. So it was tough and frustrating at the same time. But I didn't do myself any favors that game.
Yeah, and I think it was the last game of the year. Is that right?
Yeah, the very last one in Wilkes-Barre. So yeah, everyone just wanted to get out of there. We weren't making playoffs. Yeah, we were dead last. So
yeah. Now, that following year, you signed with South Carolina in the ECHL, and you played that whole season there. So do you want to talk about that year? And I'm curious if you have any like coast stories, anything you kind of thought of like this is Bush, like you know what I mean?
So I signed an A deal with Hershey, and Washington's goalie depth chart is obviously really strong. So I was down on the coast with Parker Milner, another really good goalie partner of mine at the time, and it was probably, like I said, with that and Adirondack, this was, an awesome place to live, and the fans there are really loyal. I love playing, in front of them and at home. Like I said, nothing but great, things to say about that city and that fan base. Not too many actually, interesting stories with that, because we had a pretty older veteran group, a lot of, AHL talent and guys that, played a lot of years. So we were pretty dominant to start the year and really mature. And I think we treated ourselves almost like an AHL team. So there wasn't too much, stupid shit going on with those guys. We were pretty good. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I can.
No, you're good.
Okay.
All right, and then you kind of, once you graduated from the A deals, you got your big ticket, your first one ever. You signed a 2-year NHL deal with the Vegas Golden Knights. So how did that signing come to be?
I got a text from Kelly McCrimmon one night, just kind of asking, who my agent is, and I told him, and kind of the next day he just said we had a contract offer, and they want me to drive out to Vegas. Obviously I signed the contract right away, and this is mid-COVID, so they're in the bubble, kind of getting ready for playoffs in Edmonton. So I got in my car and loaded it all up and drove to Vegas just to be a part of practicing with them for a week and a half before they took off.
Yeah, and were you expecting to kind of sign an NHL deal, or were you like, maybe I'm not ready yet, and then it kind of got you by surprise, or did you know you were bound to get one pretty soon?
I wasn't too sure if I was gonna sign with Vegas. Washington did not make an offer with us too. We decided to not sign and wait, and immediately after, like I said, Vegas kind of came through, and that was when I made my decision. This is kind of where I always wanted to play and be a part of, so it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, and how did you kind of find that year, jumping in on an NHL deal in the AHL in Henderson, on and off the ice?
I was really fortunate, coming in here, and not many guys can just kind of walk in and kind of be given the starting job like that. And, obviously it wasn't given to it, I had to perform, but, the team trusted me, from the very first game, and we were really thankful for the opportunity, and they just kind of let me run with things. And, I got to play quite a bit, up and down with the taxi squad and switching on and off with Oscar Dance. But no, I was really fortunate, that Henderson gave me an opportunity, and I ran with it. And I love it here, and I love being a part of this organization.
Yeah, pretty sick place to live, especially like during COVID. At least you get the nice weather and stuff. And we can't overlook this because you were AHL goaltender of the year and AHL all rookie team, which is absolutely incredible feat, especially like first year on an NHL deal and you're pulling that off. And it's no wonder, testament to yourself is why you're getting games now in the NHL. So what was kind of just going through your head? Like, I mean, like you said, you weren't sure kind of where your career was a few years earlier when you're at Brock, and then all of a sudden you're the top goalie in the AHL and looking to get NHL games.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't really at the time, paying much attention to that. I think we were such a good team, especially to start the year in Henderson, that we kind of started like, 10-0 or I don't know, something like that, something ridiculous. And we just had a good group of guys. We were having fun. Obviously, it was the middle of COVID, but we were just putting together some wins and really not giving up much. And I wasn't thinking of it at the time or even looking at stats, and just kind of realized, at the end of the year, guys were saying stuff and that's kind of how, things kind of led to kind of where they are at now. But yeah, no, just that team we had was so good. And with the COVID year, a lot of guys, were in and out of the lineup but we were luckily enough to be pretty loaded up with guys. And it was a shorter season playing, 5 or 6 teams. That's it. So, you kind of get used to the same guys, who you're playing against every night. So it was easy to get into a rhythm like that.
Mm-hmm.
What were the COVID protocols like living wise for you? Were you guys able to do dinners or like enjoy the season, or was it like rink and home all the time?
It was pretty much rink and home. Dressing rooms, we couldn't have the full team. So we'd have 3 different dressing rooms and spread each guy out, which was, kind of crappy for the guys who couldn't be in the big, home room. And, mask on at all times, a certain amount of numbers and guys in the gym and other guys in other parts of the rink. So it was frustrating like that. And 2 buses on road trips. So, I mean, you definitely couldn't be as close as you are usually with a hockey team. You can't go on dinners on the road or, like bonding, stuff like that. It was basically rink home and order some food, order groceries and stuff like that.
Have you cooked anything yet since you moved out of Brock?
I'm getting better. I'm getting better at it.
I was just wondering that one. But so I do want to talk about your time with the Golden Knights last year. Now, like you mentioned, you were on the taxi squad and that sort of stuff. And you did end up getting a couple games backing up and actually got into one game when Fleury got pulled. So before even we talk about that, just tell us what it was like, just being a part of the big show like that.
It was awesome. I mean, obviously the 2 goalies up there with Flower and Lenny at the time. So I was just really happy to be on the same ice as them and learning from both of them at the same time. I mean, you're not going to kick any of those guys out of the net and take reps, right? So you just kind of got to sit there and wait and watch and kind of whenever one jumps out, hop in. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was my first time kind of being up in the NHL. So I was just trying to take it all in and not get too nervous, and try to get adjusted and prove to the guys that, I can stay up here and skate with them. So that was kind of all my mindset was, and just trying to get along with the guys.
Yeah. And for the listeners and for Cardsy, this is like 2 years after leaving Brock, by the way, like very quick upswing for you. And then, Fleury wins the Vezina that year too. So you're sitting there learning from a Vezina goalie as a young guy coming in. And what kinds of things do you learn from Leonard and Fleury? I know you're pretty close with Leonard, aren't you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I try to be close with everyone. I mean,
you go boxing with him and stuff in the summer. And
I went boxing with him at the start of the year. He took me to we were talking about getting into it, and he took me once, and it was a pretty cool experience seeing that guy box. He hits pretty hard from what I saw. So I wouldn't want to get hit by that guy. But yeah, I mean, you can kind of take things from each guy. I mean, Flowers, super athletic, competes, and the guy, is the most lovable guy in the whole, NHL, right? No one can say anything bad about that guy. And Lenny just reads plays so well, and, he uses his body. Obviously, I'm not built like Leonard, but, there's definitely things you can steal from each guy and try to interpret it into your own game. And that was what I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, Flower gets pulled one game, you get in the third and shut the door, no goals against. So can you talk about that game, getting in your first NHL game there?
Yeah, it was in Minnesota. I really didn't think I was going to go in. I think it was 1-1 going in the third, and Flower was playing great. He was keeping us in that game, and they scored 3 quick ones, and they just said, "Put your gear on, you're going in." And yeah, I was just the holy shit moment. Nervous, you don't really want to get scored on, especially I was trying to prove something to these guys in the organization. So luckily only had 2 saves and was able to keep them out, and we almost came back and won the game.
What's going through your head after that? Like, and during like everything, tell us a little more about that. Cause you're not even probably mentally prepared going into that game for playing, I would imagine.
No, I mean, it's hard, right? You sit there for 2 periods and you're kind of just, it's a 1-1 game. And obviously like, you're just, you don't think you're going into that situation. Yeah, it was, a lot of emotions were going through, it was happy, a little emotional. There was no fans, which is, is awkward for the NHL, but yeah, I mean, it's just trying to take it all in, just realizing, who you're on the ice with and the guys are in front of you and, the guys, yeah, just, people I grew up watching and I'm on the ice with them. It was cool. It was experience I'll never forget.
And how many saves did you say you made?
I think I had 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 2 in like 10 minutes or something. Didn't do much.
Yeah, and your first game this year was against Nashville, yeah?
Yeah, it was Nashville.
I'm just curious, like who had the best shot in that game? You're like, holy shit! Like I saw like Forsberg's was a rocket, but like other than that,
I think it has to be Forsberg. I was doing video on him before the game too, and I think he had 4 or 5 shots on me. And it's tricky. Like he handcuffed me. He could have he almost scored a couple other times too. He's definitely got a really good shot, and it comes off like awkward. Like even that first goal, I want to have it. I definitely want to have that one back, but his release, it's something else.
mm-hmm.
Duchesne had a couple rips on you. I saw like you saved him, but he can rifle the puck. Eh?
Yeah, I mean, everyone in that league.
Yeah. There's a few guys.
Like it's like you sit there and it doesn't matter. Honestly, like that's the biggest difference I think between like the NHL and the American League is everyone's just so good. Everyone's elite, right? It's the best league in the world. It doesn't matter what line you're on. It's if a guy gets a grade A scoring chance, it's not easy. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're currently up with the Golden Knights right now. So how have you been finding things are going for you this season?
I think they're going really, really well so far. I feel a lot better about my game than I did last year. I'm starting to get up to speed with these guys and the shots. So I definitely feel way better in practice, and I'm just getting my confidence up and, hopefully going to be more ready. When if or when that next I get called next. So we'll see if that ever happens. But I just kind of want to build off my last game. Obviously it wasn't horrible, but there's definitely a lot of things I could have cleaned up for sure.
Yeah, no, you look good in that game from what I saw for sure. And I actually got a few questions about Vegas because I wonder, is it weird as a goalie with the chrome buckets wheeling around? Like, does that ever mess with your head?
No. I remember we have in Henderson too, and I remember the first time I saw it, it threw me off. It's like it's different, but no, you get used to it.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna say like you're getting a reflection from the crowd like in your eyes. So just
no.
It's a gong show, but also like so you guys in Vegas, like where do all the guys live? Like how far away from like downtown is everyone living?
Most guys, I want to say if they're on the NHL club, I'm not 100% sure, but they all live in I think like an area called Summerlin, which is around the rink. And there's tons of communities around there. I'm not sure kind of exactly where most of them are, but yeah, I mean, they'd probably live, I want to say at like up to max 5 minutes from the practice rink, which is, and then from the strip, it's probably like a good 20-minute, 15-minute drive from the highway. It's all highway in Vegas here. So it's pretty easy to get everywhere here.
Yeah. And for you, how has it been living in Vegas? Like kind of different scenery than you'd see in Calgary growing up for sure.
Yeah, no, it's a good spot. It's fun. I like living here, and I'm kind of in the middle between Henderson and Vegas, so it's not too far to both practice rinks. So it's nice. The weather's perfect here. Can't complain. A lot of guys golf, so I gotta start getting into golf because I have no golf game. But no, there's tons to do. It's not just the strip. People think of Vegas and they think of the strip, but there's so much more to do here. It's insane.
Is there any like team rules about the strip, or is it like just go and do whatever you want?
Don't be in the news.
No. I mean, especially right now with COVID, right? We're all trying to stay safe and stay away from that. I mean, this new variant, right? It's pretty easy to get, so we all want to stay in the lineup. Especially me, right? I don't want to. I'm trying to soak this all in as long as I can. So I'm not trying to catch it and have to sit out for 5 days. So
yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Now we'll take it into a couple personality questions here, get to know you a little bit. How would your teammates describe you?
I think I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I mean, I like to be like joking around and not too serious, especially now on game day. I try to keep things loose. But obviously when it's game time, I can dial it in and be pretty, on my game and like this, stay focused for that 60 minutes.
Actually, I have like a follow-up question. Now, we know, all of us who play hockey, like everyone knows goalies are generally pretty weird and strange. And from what I remember with you, LT, you were always like super chill, like the one goalie I could talk to on a game day, and you wouldn't get mad. So what's it like with the NHL guys, like with Leonard and when you're with Fleury and stuff? Like, how are those guys on a game day?
Oh, they're all super chill. I mean, even this year with Lenny and LB, like Brissois, they're all really chill guys. And I mean, I think that's the whole team, right? There's no one that's most guys have been doing this now for so many years. So it's just another game. It's their jobs. They're all elite professionals. They know how to handle themselves. They know how to get ready for a game. And it's cool to watch. And that's hopefully where I want to be. In a couple of years, where just come to the rink and just get ready for a game like they do. So casual and they're all elite players.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the personality questions. How do you eat a cupcake?
How do I peel the paper off it and eat it?
Do you eat it from like the bottom, the top, the side? Like, what do you do?
The middle, I think. You just
Okay.
bite into it. Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite thing to do outside of hockey?
Ooh. I mean, I'm really into Warzone right now. So I've been crushing. I got a PC, so I've been crushing a lot of Warzone on the PC lately. It's a big one for me.
Okay. Are you getting into the wines at all? Like, are you a wine guy? No.
I'm a Bud Light type of guy still.
But you like to flex bottles of wine on the Insta sometimes, or what?
No. I think maybe back like mid-COVID, I was like trying to, but I was a pretender. I can't do
it. Okay. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Do you have a ghost tattooed on you?
A ghost? No, I have a no. No.
Where'd you get that from, Rask? What?
Yeah.
No, don't you have like a ghost face on your arm or something?
No, I have like a face on my arm. It's not a ghost face.
Okay. Hey, all right. I haven't seen your arm in a while.
There's a haunted museum here actually in Vegas I went to. It's pretty cool. Zach Bagan's like haunted museum. It's a cool spot. Just actually went there the other day.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
You'll have to take me in cards out there.
Of course.
Do you like pineapple on pizza?
I don't hate it. I mean, I would order it, but I wouldn't take it off.
Yeah, okay. I like it. All right, this one's a good one. If you were stuck on an island for a month with 3 other members of the Vegas Golden Knights, who would you want them to be?
Like Henderson and Vegas, or is it just Vegas?
Yeah, let's make it the whole organization.
Probably Will Carrier for one, because that guy, I mean, like I said, I'm just starting to get to know him, but he's fixing everything in the dressing room. It's really he's really handy. It's impressive. Probably Ian McCoshen down in Henderson, because he's just massive human, so he can do all the lifting and stuff like that for sure. And probably a guy like Paul Cotter, just down in Henderson as well, just someone who can make you laugh and do stupid shit. So you definitely need one of those guys with you.
Yeah, hey, you might need that Lowen guy too. That guy. If you want a big body, bring that guy in.
Yeah, Maynard's a big boy. Yeah. For sure.
I played this guy in the in like the prospect showcase or whatever, and I was like, or I actually didn't play that game. I was injured, but I was just watching, and I was like genuinely scared for the guys out there. This guy's like, he is huge, and he's just a man, and he's running guys over too that night. So I wouldn't.
He's the nicest human being ever. But yeah, when he's playing a game, he's an animal for sure. He runs around. He does his job really well.
Yeah, I was scared a bit from the crowd. So I mean, but we're gonna go into the this or that question. So I'm gonna give you 2 options. You pick whatever one suits you best. So we'll start her off: pizza or burgers?
Pizza.
Hot weather, cold weather?
Hot weather.
Poker or blackjack?
Blackjack.
Nice. Chipotle or Freshie?
Chipotle.
Black tape or white tape?
White tape.
Cardio or weights?
Neither.
Yeah. I was just about to say that too, because the next question coming up later on here. Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube,
Small town or big city?
big city.
All right, that wraps it up for this or that this
There we
week.
go. Yeah. Couple fan questions. Have you made any big purchases since being up in the NHL, getting some money?
I wouldn't say since I was in the NHL. I bought a new car, but that wasn't with my NHL money. I just bought a new car. Yeah.
Okay, there you got Hendo money. You're good.
Yeah.
Now, because you didn't have a signing bonus, right?
No, I got a signing bonus. Yeah. I got
Okay.
2 years of signing bonus. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Well, yeah, LT our partners at the Gavin Hockey Well Specialists. We work with them, former hockey players who manage finance for tons of NHL players, tons of former guests of the podcast for us, and they're the best in the business. They'll help you out with taxes and help you out with, setting you up so you don't have to work for a day in your life when you retire from hockey. So for listeners, check them out, gavingroup.ca. Do you have any superstitions?
I think I used to. Definitely when I was junior and at Brock, but I'm slowly starting to kind of get rid of them and just come to the rink and be loose and play.
Yeah. Someone you may know asks, where is the gym located at Brock?
It's the left side of the building.
Yeah. Do you know who do you think asked that?
Oh, was it Cooler?
It was Lois.
Lois. Oh, yeah, or Lois. Yeah. Yeah, true.
And one more here, being undrafted in the NHL and then going to Brock, did you ever give up on your NHL dreams?
Yeah, I think after my 20-year-old year and being told that, especially from Washington, saying, like, thanks for coming basically, and, go to school. I think that's kind of when you got to sit down and realize, like, okay, it's not in the books, not in the cards, and just gonna, go get education. And I still wanted to play pro. Didn't know if that was, overseas or going to be in the coast. So but yeah, I think that's kind of when I realized that, the NHL won't be a thing, and start looking at, different possibilities.
Wow.
Well, obviously, yeah. Like you're obviously way off the mark on that one because where you're sitting today. But I kind of just want to get your take on something that's going on right now. Obviously, Raskin's dealing a lot with it, with USports being shut down and like them not being considered elite athletes. Have you heard much on that?
Yeah, I mean that stuff is obviously really shitty. I saw it the day I made my debut, so I was kind of thinking about other stuff, but I definitely saw it all over social media. It's unfortunate, and I feel for those players. I think if the OUA is going to do that, I think that they should let the guys go to the coast, and if they want to come back, then let them. If they want to come back to school after, if that's the case, I don't know kind of what's going on, if they're going to reopen it or let the players come back, or if they're done for good. But it's really unfair to say they're elite athletes, because a lot of these guys are playing major junior when they're 20-year-olds. So how are they not elite as soon as they graduate from major junior? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm lucky because I wait a year and I'd be in the same boat as those players, and I wouldn't be here sitting with you guys today. So I feel for them, and it's really unfortunate, and I'm hoping that the OUA can do something to help these players out.
Yeah, I heard the CEO of the OUA said that he wants to allow the people who signed pro for this year to come back to finish this season and for next season, but he said it's like a USports decision, so they're sending up the ladder and seeing if everyone approves or whatever. But anyway, yeah, so we'll see. But I do agree it is a bit ridiculous that we can't be playing right now, and I don't know, it sucks.
I mean, that's how it should be, because I mean, if it's not like the players are choosing to not play, they're shutting the doors on them, basically forcing them. If their schooling is online, I would go play in the coast too, if that was my only option. So their hands are kind of being forced. I don't want to sit at home and do online school all day and not play hockey. So they should let them go play for a bit, then come back if they choose to do so.
Yeah, and that's what we've said to every player too on our team that have left. Like, they all come in and they chat about it, and Kevin, myself, like, it's just go ahead. Like, we're not gonna hold you and let you not play games. Like, go play games. So with Cards, I'll flip it back to you.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying too. And LT's like a big, like he's like the main catalyst for that now too. Like a guy who's there 2 years ago and now playing in the NHL. Like it just goes to show you that like obviously they're elite. If you're gonna make the jump to the National Hockey League from USports, it's an elite level of hockey. And saw it, Sawsey, the guy I met at Sharks camp as well. He just did the same thing. Yeah, I think he was at University of Alberta not too long ago, and then just got into his first NHL game too. So it's happening.
And you look at Joel Ward, my assistant coach on Henderson, right? He came from CIS and he played how many games in the NHL, how many hundreds of games in the NHL, right? And then and same with Derek Ryan, right? So those are two guys that had really good careers, and one's still playing and one's coaching the American Hockey League now.
Yeah, it's it's definitely something that needs to be handled, and I think Rask just needs to do a better job. Speaking
what is he doing? He's spending too much time on his podcast. Like,
hey, if the OUA wants to put me in charge of men's hockey or women's hockey or whatever, like go ahead, I'll take that job. I'm saying it right now.
I think that's all we got for you here. I just want to say thanks so much for taking the time to come on today, and all the best going forward. Can't wait to see you in some more games soon.
Yeah, no problem, guys. So really happy to be on here. Thanks for allowing me.
Yeah, it's good seeing you too again, LT. Actually, one quick last one. I know I saw in one picture you had the flow going out the helmet. Are you gonna grow that back, or what went on there?
Yeah, I'll probably grow it back. It was my my COVID hair. Like you should see my mugshots from first year Vegas camp to like this year Vegas. It's pretty neat, kind of what happens in a year. But yeah, no, I cut it off. Guys were giving me a hard time. My goalie coach, Rosati here in Vegas, was giving me a hard time about it. So I just chopped it off. Restart.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah, LT, I appreciate you coming on. It's good seeing you again. It's exciting time for you right now and for us at Brock and all that. We're all watching you. So, yeah, I mean, good luck the rest of the year, and we'll keep in touch. And I'm looking forward to watching you playing the show again soon.
Yeah, it's really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, and thanks LT for that one. Just a good old Western boy. So it's I thought it was a great interview, and I hope the fans really enjoyed it. What'd you think of that, Raz?
Yeah, it was good catching up with him. I love him, and I'm happy that he's in the NHL now. Like, it's pretty crazy, when I walk in the rink at Brock every day and I see the boys, like, you don't really think, okay, like which one of you is going to be in the NHL soon, right? Like, that's not. You're just, everyone's here to get their education and stuff, and it was crazy how quick his come up was right out of Brock. I mean, like two years till his first NHL game, and now he's starting a year later, and it is cool, man, and a good story. And it just shows too. He never got drafted to the NHL, right? Like, you don't need to be drafted. There's so many guys that aren't drafted that make it, and that aren't signed that make it. Maybe they get drafted, their team doesn't sign them, they move on, and they still find a way. So it is a good lesson on perseverance there and never giving up. And actually, speaking of perseverance, it brings me to this one message we got on the Instagram that I'd like to read. A guy named Josh sent it to us. He asked us to share it, so I'll just read it. Hey boys, my name is Josh Price. I'm from a little town outside of Ottawa called Kempville, and I'm a big fan of the show. I'm here to show attention on an amazing story. My girlfriend's name is Chloe Lewis, and she's an assistant captain of the U18 AA Rideau St. Lawrence Thunder. In 2017, Chloe tragically lost her brother to suicide. This hit Chloe very hard, and ever since then, she's worked hard every day to reach her dream of playing in the Olympics. Throughout these past couple of years, she has faced so much adversity and continues to push forward. I think her story is a great one on perseverance. Thank you very much for looking at this message, and keep up the great work. So obviously, to Chloe, like, keep it up. It'd be unreal. Go to the Olympics. It's a tough story. I'm sorry for your family and for all that, but don't let it get to you. Sounds like Chloe's got a good head on her shoulders. Keep plowing forward, make the Olympics. And yeah, I just wanted to share that. It was a nice message we got. And, if anyone wants to message us with stories or just like message, why not? Like, go ahead. We read all our messages. So I want to thank Josh for sending that one in. But I guess at this part of the episode, we've been going a bit. So what do we have? Anything else here, Cards?
No. I guess we can pretty much wrap it up.
All right, it's -15 here. You want to give a quick weather report and go for it?
Yeah, here's a better weather report. It's -30 today in Barrie. So I I gotta go and start my car right now. I got the old Jeep, had to get fixed up again, new spark plugs for me. So I'm gonna go start it up about 30 minutes in advance today. So I'm not stuck here in my driveway missing my workout. But no, it's great to catch up. I thought it was a great interview this week, and no, everyone just prepare for the cold weather. If you're a big ODR guy, I know a lot of people are during lockdown. Just be careful, wear your balaclava, wear your scarf, or whatever you got to do so you don't have frostbite, and make sure those fingers can tap play on next week's episode. We'll see you then.